Gerry Francis versus referee. That meltdown wasn't just loud, it needed a policeman to hold him back. He once captained England, but that same man later chased referees and clashed with fans. What happened to Gerry Francis? The date was April 27, 1994. Queen's Park Rangers were playing Arsenal at Loftus Road. The score was tied 1-1. QPR manager Gerry Francis watched as his team was denied not one but two clear penalties. First, Steve Morrow tackled David Bardsley in the box. No whistle. Then Lee Dixon handled the ball. Again, nothing from referee Ian Borrett. When the final whistle blew, something in Francis snapped. The usually calm manager stormed after the referee, shouting as Borrett headed for the tunnel. Francis was so angry that a policeman had to grab his arm to stop him. Even as the ref disappeared from view, Francis kept yelling. Later, he simply said, "I've had a few words with the referee," but everyone had seen his fury. This wasn't the Gerry Francis that football fans knew. This was a man at breaking point. How did the stylish midfielder who once wore the England armband end up needing police to hold him back? Born in Chiswick, London in December 1951, Gerry Francis showed early promise. He joined Queen's Park Rangers as a youth player, making his first team debut against Liverpool in 1969. He was just 17 years old. Francis wasn't big, but he was smart. He could read the game better than most. His passing was pinpoint perfect. When he moved with the ball, he did it with grace. Francis grew into a leader at QPR. By 1974, still only 23, he was team captain. The 1975-76 season would bring his finest hour as a player. That year, QPR shocked everyone by nearly winning the First Division title. They finished just 1 point behind Liverpool. Francis was the beating heart of that team, scoring the goal of the season against Liverpool early in the campaign. His club form caught the eye of England manager Don Revie. After just a few England games, Revie made the bold move of giving Francis the captain's armband. At 23, Francis became the youngest regular England captain since Bobby Moore. He remains the only QPR player ever to captain England. Francis led England 8 times in his 12 caps. Against Scotland at Wembley in May 1975, he scored twice in a famous 5-1 win. One goal was a stunning 25-yard strike into the top corner. That same year, he faced Pelé in Philadelphia during the American Bicentennial Cup. England, wearing yellow that day, beat Team America 3-1. Francis scored in the match and later called playing against Pelé one of the proudest moments of my career. But behind the success, Francis struggled with a persistent back injury. This problem would cut short his England career. His final cap came against Finland in June 1976. He was just 24 years old. The injury would plague him for years to come. As his playing career wound down, Francis became something of a journeyman. After leaving QPR in 1979, he played for Crystal Palace, then briefly returned to QPR, before spells at Coventry City, Cardiff City, Swansea City, Portsmouth and Bristol Rovers. The magic was fading. The moves became more frequent, the appearances fewer. In 1983, Francis took his first step into management as player manager at Exeter City. It was a harsh welcome to life in the dugout. Results were terrible. His team won just 6 games out of 50. Exeter finished bottom of the 3rd division and were relegated. Francis left with a win rate of just 12%. But he wasn't done. In 1987, Francis took over at Bristol Rovers. This time, things went much better. He rebuilt his reputation, guiding the Pirates to the 3rd Division Championship in 1990. This remains his only major trophy as a manager. His win rate at Bristol Rovers was a solid 41%. Then came the chance he'd been waiting for. In 1991, Francis returned to his beloved QPR as manager. His timing was perfect. The Premier League launched the following year, and Francis led QPR to a fifth-place finish in that first season. They were the highest-placed London club that year. Francis was praised for developing players like Les Ferdinand, who scored 20 league goals, and Andy Sinton and Trevor Sinclair, who would go on to win England caps. QPR played attractive football and achieved good results, finishing 9th the following season. Francis had built a reputation as a promising manager. In March 1994, he turned down a big offer to manage ambitious Wolverhampton Wanderers. His stock was high. But then came that April night against Arsenal and the referee incident. It was a glimpse of something darker, a hint of the pressure building inside a man known for his calm leadership. 7 months later, in November 1994, Francis accepted an offer to manage Tottenham Hotspur. His early days at White Hart Lane were promising. He lifted Spurs from near the bottom to a 7th-place finish that season. They also reached the FA Cup semi-finals. Francis won the Premier League Manager of the Month award for December 1994. He brought his former star Lee Ferdinand with him from QPR. But the good times didn't last. The next 2 seasons saw Spurs finish 8th and 10th. That wasn't good enough for a club with such high hopes. Francis faced huge problems, especially with injuries. The 1996-97 season was particularly bad. Francis later said he earned his money more that season than at any other time because of the difficulties. The biggest issue came with star winger Darren Anderton. The England international was constantly injured, earning the cruel nickname Sick Note. Many Spurs fans blamed Francis for rushing Anderton back too soon from injuries, making things worse. Between 1995 and 1997, Anderton managed just 25 league appearances. But the story wasn't that simple. Years later, Anderton revealed that Tottenham chairman Alan Sugar had put pressure on him to play even when not fully fit. Before a match against Sheffield Wednesday in October 1997, Anderton had been out for 3 months. Sugar asked him to sit on the bench just to give the crowd a lift, promising he wouldn't be needed. But when the score became tight at 3-2, Francis brought him on, leaving Anderton feeling unprepared. Anderton also claimed that his troubles began with a poor initial diagnosis by a club physio. The medical team might have been under pressure from the chairman to declare him fit. Francis, as manager, took the blame, but he was caught in a difficult situation between his injured star, the club hierarchy, and the medical staff. By November 1997, with Spurs struggling near the relegation zone, Francis resigned. He had managed 142 games for Spurs with a win rate of nearly 39%. Despite the difficult ending, Francis had twice turned down approaches about the England manager's job while at Tottenham. A year later, Francis returned to Queen's Park Rangers for a second time as manager, but this QPR was very different from the one he had left. The club was struggling financially in Division 1, the second tier. His main job was to keep them from relegation, which he managed for 2 seasons. But with the team still in trouble, Francis resigned in February 2001. His final managerial role came at Bristol Rovers in June 2001. It started well with 3 straight wins, but soon injuries hit the squad, results got worse, and Francis resigned on Christmas Eve after just 6 months in charge. His second spell at Rovers saw just 9 wins from 31 games. This short, unsuccessful stint marked the end of Francis's main managerial career. 7 years later, in 2008, Francis returned to top-flight football in a unique role. He joined Tony Pulis's coaching staff at Stoke City as what he called the Invisible Man. While he helped with training during the week, on match days, Francis would sit high in the stands rather than on the touchline. From this position, he provided tactical analysis to Pulis via communication links. This partnership lasted nearly a decade. Francis followed Pulis to Crystal Palace in 2014 and then to West Bromwich Albion from 2015 to 2017. Pulis valued Francis's experience and knowledge, saying, "We wash away experience too quickly in this country. Gerry has done everything in the game, and that is the kind of person I listen to. He has a fantastic eye on football." Away from football, Francis pursued many interests. He ran businesses in antiques, promotions, and property development. He became part owner of Theatre Partners Ltd, a company with rights to successful musicals like Buddy and 125th Street. He even invested in West End shows. Perhaps his most unusual hobby is pigeon fancying, an interest he inherited from his footballer father, George. Francis keeps an impressive pigeon loft at his Surrey home. He sees it as a classless sport and notes that Mike Tyson and Duncan Ferguson share the same passion. His expertise led him to advise on the 2005 Disney film Valiant about RAF homing pigeons in World War II. He even sent a good luck message via pigeon post to the England squad before Euro 2012. His most recent public appearance came on March 6, 2024, when he took part in tributes to his former QPR teammate Stan Bowles at Loftus Road. Now, 73 years old, Francis keeps a lower profile these days. Looking back at Gerry Francis's career, we see contrasts. As a player, he was elegant and intelligent. His England captaincy at just 23 showed his leadership quality. At QPR, he reached iconic status, leading their greatest ever side to within a point of the title. As a manager, he had clear skills. He won promotion with Bristol Rovers and guided QPR to that impressive fifth-place Premier League finish. Players like Les Ferdinand thrived under his guidance. But there were also those darker moments. The touchline meltdown against Arsenal. The controversy over Anderton's injuries. The managerial jobs that ended too soon. The early promise that never quite delivered the highest honours. From England captain to chasing referees down tunnels, Francis's story shows how quickly fortunes can change in football. The midfield maestro became the frustrated manager. The calm leader became the man needing police restraint. Now, as Francis enters his mid-70s, he has found peace away from the pressure cooker of management. The man who once captained his country from a small London club has lived a football life full of highs and lows. The touchline fury we saw that night against Arsenal wasn't just a random outburst. It was the product of years of pressure, expectation, and passion for the game he devoted his life to.